Well, as they like to say, from Venezuela al mundo, hanging out with us today on the blend is the owner and blender of Stallone Cigars, our man Tony Barrios. Tony, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Thank you very much, brother. I'm very
Listen,
happy to hear with you guys.
listen, you've got a great story, and the first thing I want to talk is I'm having one of your Stallone Clydesdales, absolutely magnificent, from the shaggy foot, kind of like the Clydesdale. I like my cigars with a big ring gauge. I like them powerful, and brother, this thing announces its presence.
Yep, yeah, definitely. That was a cigar that I blended exactly to be a 60 ring gauge. Because most of the blends they behave very different when you go up to 10 point. The different. What I call point is for example, from 51 to 52, there's 2 points, right?
Right.
And ring gauge. So if you do a blend thinking a 50, 52, and then you go all the way to 60, it definitely is not going to taste exactly the same. It can taste very similar, but it's not going to be the same profile. The body changes a little bit. So I blend that cigar right to be a 60 ring gauge. There's six ligeros inside, so it's a cigar that is full of ligero, but it's a very, very well aged tobacco. So you're not gonna feel the punch in the face of the six ligeros because, uh, as you know, as you age your tobacco, the strain come a little bit down, it settles up, and the cigar itself have over a year resting in a aging room before releasing. And the wrapper, I want to highlight that wrapper. It's a very special, unique wrapper, which is a Connecticut broadleaf seed planted in Nicaragua. So when you start the cigar, you start without binder, without nothing, just the ligeros, and some visos. So you get that rustic feel flavor kind of like. And then as the way you go through that part and start to burn in the wrapper, everything falls into the perfect balance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a very fun cigar to try because there's something different. And I call it the Clydesdale because it's big and shaggy foot, the same as the horse.
You nailed it. Now you're a horse guy, right? That's the one thing. I mean, the first thing you see is
Yes.
the horse on the label. Because I'll be honest with you, when I first heard Stallone cigar, I was like, Rocky has a cigar. I mean, ¿qué pasó con Sylvester Stallone? But that has to do more of your
The
love
horses
and
are
your passion
everywhere.
for horses, right?
Yeah, actually, I ride cutting horses, and that's why I'm here in Forward. Basically, because I love this city. It's a horse city. It's where the main horse event here at the Will Rogers Museum. The Triple Crown Championship is here. So I have, many years coming here to forward my horses, and I've got a lot of friends in the industry, in the horse industry as well. So that's why I settle up here as well uh, as far as cigar business. Texas is kind of the middle of the country, so I can fly, and reach the whole country in less time if I live in West or East Coast.
Right.
So I've been involved in the cutting horse industry since 2008. Uh, and I started showing here in Texas in 2009. And I just want to take a picture in the famous Will Rogers Arena, with the famous sort of cowboy riders. And I ended up, finishing the contest in fifth position in my category, which is a very hard to do, in at the very first show here in Texas because those guys were born between horse legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Uh, the same happened to me. My horse and cigar tobacco passion come from my grandfather on my mother's side. He was Italian. My mother's from Italy, and he started growing tobacco for Toscanelo cigars back in in the 40s. And then Second World War came, and he lost the tobacco fields. He lost everything. He went to war, and he sent my mother. She was 3 year old, and my grandmother to Venezuela, where I was born, South America. And then when he escaped from war, because he was in a German concentration field after the war for 6 months, and then he was able to make it to Venezuela, and then he started doing the tobacco again, in Venezuela, from scratch, from zero again.
You know,
So he was born in sorry.
no, I was about to say that you hear about the great cigar masters from Cuba and the Caribbean, but to have a cigar guy come out of Venezuela and to grow cigars in Venezuela, that's something I've never heard of.
Yeah, I grow cigar. I grow cigar in Venezuela for the cigarette industry, Berlin, Virginia varieties. For BAT, British American Tobacco. Uh, but I always have different part of the tobacco farms for black tobacco because the soils have to be treated very different. And the plant itself, the plant is more complicated to deal with black tobacco than with cigarette tobacco, because cigarette tobacco is you don't have to take you have to take care, but not as precise as with black tobacco. So that being said, I had two factories of cigars in Venezuela, and I took a lot of Cuban guys, not a lot. I mean, like 3 or 4 of them to teach my people, for the black tobacco, because we already in the industry over 40 years for the cigarette tobacco. But those guys taught my people about how to treat the soil for black tobacco, how to do a proper fermentation, because I was not able to train all the people at the same time, because I was president of the Tobacco Chambers of Commerce in Venezuela as well. So I had a thing going on. So I bring some Cubans with very good knowledge, and they train my people, and so this passion goes back far, since I was a kid all the way through my life. So
Amazing. And you could see it in your face as you tell the story. So really Stallone cigars, because Stallone is Italian for stallion, right? That's where it comes from. And this is really kind of
yeah,
like a gift
yeah,
and a tribute to your grandfather.
yes, sir, yes, sir. With all my open heart, I strongly believe that he's in every word that I say. He's in every show that I go, in every cigar that I make, because his dream was me having a cigar brand one day. He was in love with the tobacco regarding the cigars. And those old guys, Italian guys, uh, that went to war, they feel like a 15-year-old kid is a 15-year-old already grown man. So because they can hold a rifle and go to war, that's the way it was back then. So he started pulling some tobacco from his aged bales, and I thought he was doing tobacco cigar for him. So he rolled a cigar and gave it to me, and I say I cannot smoke, because my father was very straightforward on me, no alcohol, no cigar, no cigarette, remember the cigar line come from my mother's side. So, and my father was like checking up on me every time if I smelled cigar, because he knew that I liked it, with my grandpa. And I said, I was with grandpa, so he was smoking cigars, so no problem. So the real fact is I tried that cigar, and then I start, sweating cold and getting dizzy, I feel like passing over. And then I say, my grandpa, this, I cannot continue doing this. I kind of feel bad. And say, now you're becoming a man. Now you're ready to start your life. And so
Oh,
that experience, is in my heart forever. And he passed away 3 months after. So he just wanted to share, to see me, my first cigar with me. He was not really wanted to me to smoke a cigar at the age of 15, The only thing is he was, short of time. So that will always will be keeping my heart. And he told me that day that his dream was to me to have a cigar brand one day.
And you did it, my friend. You did it. Absolutely. Yeah. And that story touches me because my grandfather, on my mom's side, he got me into the cigar business. Now you do a lot of your growing in Esteli in Nicaragua, which obviously is center of the cigar world. Where is the industry going in your mind? A lot of people in the business. There's the good and bad of it. How is the cigar business now, and what is the future for Stallone?
Where? That's a good question. I see the, to start, the best thing is, 80% of the cigars sold, I mean, premium cigars, sold in the world are 80% are consumed by the United States country only by itself. So the rest 20% is for the whole world, including South America, Europe, Asia. So Asia is a big player on this, business because they're starting to take it. So we're selling a lot of cigars to Hong Kong right now. So when they open, that market, it's going to be huge, for that market. So we're not going to have enough production, because the tobacco is limited to the territory. So I've seen, in the last years, starting, the market, the trends, the American people is switching more over to Nicaraguan tobaccos, to Nicaraguan cigars. When I say Nicaraguan cigar, you can have a blend, with a wrapper from Ecuador or from Connecticut or from Brazil or whatever, but are mainly using Nicaraguan cigars, tobaccos. So the statistics say the last year, 68.5% of the cigars sold in the U.S. were Nicaraguan tobaccos. So, and back in 2017, 1% was Dominican. So, and keeping a close watch to those numbers, and the percentage is increasing year by year towards more Nicaragua. Uh, Nicaragua is a volcanic country, has 18 active volcanoes, and has some heights that are very good for the cigar, for the tobacco, sorry. Remember, tobacco was originally from the mountains, you know. A tobacco seed in altitude, like, help me with the feet, like 700 meters, that will be like 3,000 feet or so. Okay. If you planted that height, you will have a lot of sun, in Central and South America country. You will have a lot of sun in the day and heat. That's good for the plant to grow and to build up, all the nutrients. And then you have a whole night, like 10 Celsius, that will be like maybe 20 something Fahrenheit, So that difference in temperature between day and night in the 100 days that the plant is in the field makes all the sugars, all the oils deposit or build up better in the leaf. So that thing plus the volcanic soil having so richness in minerals makes Nicaragua stands out in strength and in complexity. I'm not saying other countries tobacco is bad. I love tobacco from a lot of countries, but Nicaragua is more towards my palate, and that's why uh, ended up founding Stallone Cigars and doing then in Esteli.
So Tony, tell me, what is Tony Barrios's best day? Like, if you had nothing to worry about for 24 hours, what would be your best day?
Well, that's an interesting question. Having not to worry about being owner of the company is very hard. But in an ideal case, my best day is, first being with my family. My family, my daughter is the most important thing to me, and completing that ideal day is, smoking a lot of cigars and riding my horses.
I bet, man. There comes such a great
I'm a
pack.
simple guy.
Hey, man, and you're doing it right. That's all you need in life. You need a good stick, a good horse, and a lot of land to just walk, right?
I'm a I'm a straightforward guy. I'm not those kind of fancy guys, that's always wearing a suit. I can wear a suit today because I feel like to, and I can wear a t-shirt then day tomorrow. So people really know me that I'm not up to luxury. I love good things. I love to go fishing in a yacht, and I love to go a lot of good stuff. But I really enjoy, simple things in life, just to be able to make it today and to breathe and being with my family alive, that's a big gift, because we don't know how many time we have left. That's the true story about everybody living in the earth, no matter if it's a rich or poor or a person with problems or not, so that's why I value a lot, the simple things in life.
Well said, my friend. So what's the future for Stallone? I mean, obviously, your blending is magnificent. These this Clydesdale is tremendous. That it's sweet. It's everything that I was expecting in this cigar. What's next for you guys? Where do you see the company in a year, 5 years? What do you want to do next with the brand?
Well, that's a very good question, to explain to the people because, like I always say, I didn't came with a suitcase brand. I didn't go to a factory and ask for a cigar that I like and put my band on. I built those planes take time because in Nicaragua and then you taste good, then you smoke it here in Texas, different weather, it's gonna taste very different. So when you do a blending process, you have to consider the market and the place. Obviously you cannot blend a cigar to be smoked only in Colorado, which is very dry in altitude. But you have to blend a cigar to be able to smoke in a range that you can enjoy. All those flavors from certain type of weather. So that's very important. So I see my company. No, it's not my company. It's your company. All people watching, all people enjoying the Salon Cigars. You guys are with me on the journey, and thank you very much. And thank you for this interview. So I see the Salon Cigars, as a successful company. I just signed up with Thomas Pollard, the Pollars, which are the big players in the cigar industry for the central United States, all the states, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, they represent like 6 states. They have a very high reputation. They carry big brands, and they were not taking, small brands. So just the fact that they get interest, in my brand, and we uh, ended up finding a contract. There was a process for like 3 to 4 months, evaluating everything, and they saw the quality that we have, the price point, and mainly the goal that I have in mind. I didn't come to a market to make a quick buck because if that was the case, the cigar were not, priced at the price that they are. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm looking for the company to be one of the leader in the cigar industry. Respecting all the big guys. But maybe 5 to 8 years will be, at a very good numbers. Not I'm not comparing myself to the monsters, but as a boutique brand, we can be one of the leader boutique brands in the industry, and this for two reasons. Number one reason, as focus, if you smoke my blends, you're gonna see that there's very different, a lot of differences between one blend and another. So I try to reach most palette that I can. And regularly, when you smoke a brand inside different, you kind of feel something same, But in this case, a blend cigar completely different. So I'm thinking in a wide portfolio, not a huge. I mean, wide in flavors, not in many vitolas, and I'm thinking in doing exactly what the customer needs. So feed the customer needs is very important these days. People demand like good quality cigars. When the people approach a boutique brand, they're waiting for something special. Not always the same. So, and I love to share, a new thing. So I already have, hundreds of blends, that I'm not going to release, obviously, because it's too many, but I'm going to be releasing some special blends, every year to keep the customer, with something new every year. Uh, and the other thing that is keeping me in that idea is the faith, is the love that I feel for the cigar leaf, is a passion, is my grandfather that's walking behind me, and see me watching me from heaven or whatever, and that is a big push for me, So when I commit to do something, I die with my boots on, like we say, So that's the other thing that I want to point, so regarding the future of the company.
I love it, man. Listen, the passion, the heritage, the responsibility of your grandfather. It's an amazing brand. Where can we find Stallone in terms of on social media, the website? Where can we find you?
Well, if you go to the website, you can put retailers, and you can put your zip code. Your zip code is a retailer to your place. If you don't have retailers close, you can go online to Privat Cigar Club. You can go to Small Batch. You can go to MiamiHumidor.net. You can go to, there's, a few catalogs that carry us. I'm not interested in having my cigar with big catalogs like Cigar International, all the stuff, because, still building my brand here in the US, and I don't want to get beat by the prices. All the brick and mortars that have support. So I'm a big brick and mortar supporter. And when I hit those big catalogs, I'm going to make sure, the price is going to be respected. The only thing to do that is with time. Because if you're uh, kind of almost new in the market, I started in August 2020 here in the US, even though I started the company in 2014 for South America and Europe. Um, they can place an order really bigger than the rest of the country. So once they own you, they're gonna drop the price, and no matter what, and if you don't pay attention to that, your brand can be destroyed. So uh, uh, people associate quality with price, and that's a very important thing because my cigars are not priced for the quality they have. I use top shelf tobacco from Maganorsa, top shelf tobacco from Oliva Company, top shelf tobacco from AJ Company. So and the wrappers from all over the world. So and I extra age them, and I do the fermentation process and all the wrappers. I buy all the wrappers raw. So taking in consideration that the prices increases in the tobacco and the price increase in the wood to make the boxes and the labels, we do the labels and springs. We use cedar sleeve in most of the cigars and food bands. So taking care of all that stuff, our cigars used to be in a $12 to $15 range for me to be able to make a decent money. So, but as I told you before, I'm looking forward to build a brand, and I'm gonna be increasing the price little by little. Doesn't matter if I suffer, you know, uh, red numbers for a few years. I'm prepared to do that. And if I was not prepared to do that, I wouldn't start here in the U.S. country, in the U.S. Territory.
What's the biggest challenge as a boutique brand? I mean, obviously you're going up against the big boys and you're trying to get yourself in your faces in catalogs and stores. What's the biggest challenge?
Where there's a lot of challenges for a boutique cigar, in brand. One of the biggest challenges. There's plenty of brands right now. The store shelf space is a big challenge because the store owners they like to keep what it sells. They don't know you, they're gonna try to reject you from the beginning. Not even when they try a cigar, and if they choose smokers, because some store owners they don't know about smoking cigar, they just own the stores, and some of them might not have a palette. Most of them they do have. I'm not talking about store owners. It's my experience. Visiting stores. Most of store owners say, "Hey, please give it to my manager. He knows better than me." So and once they smoke the cigar, everything changes. Uh, because if they are true smokers, they feel the quality and they see the projection we have, and that's what help us a lot. But it's a big challenge on the side that the cigar business is based on relationship. So if you're not a known person, or if you don't have a close relationship with a store owner, it's hard to get, even if you have the best cigar in the world, the best price. So that was the thing that I already know that kept me out of the U.S. market before 2020. And thank God and thank my grandpa that I took the decision to came here and to do it. And it has been, very very good in the way that I have achieved more than I thought I was going to achieve by this short time.
Well, I know there's bigger things to come. My man, you said you're going to go down with your boots on the horse, smoking a cigar. The man has a gift to blending. I would definitely go out and get yourself a Stallone. I'm loving this Clydesdale. I might have to get another box. Thank you, Tony, for hanging out, and I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the people watching.
Un abrazo de Venezuela al mundo, my friend.
Un abrazo.
That's Tony Barrios.